far as I could. Of course, it's reaching the heddle, so I couldn't unwind it any further. This, by the way, is a 15 dent reed, which means basically 15 threads per inch, which is the smallest one I've used so far. They come even tighter than this. And for this kind of gauge, it was pushing it, but I wanted something really fine so that when I scrunch it up and I pleat it when I'm done, it will really have a finer gauge to it. And that way too, when I do put something thicker in, like this yarn I just made, which I would call this definitely like about between a DK all the way up to a worsted when it does pop a little bit thicker like that. And that way there's a contrast. That's the Saori part of the weaving, is adding treasures. Here I've got some coils that I made, a spiral coil of some similar fibers. That's the sari silk. See the gold there? And then I did a little bit of metallic. That's kind of a treasure in there too. I've got some silk. This is oh gosh, this is so beautiful. This is French Angora. It's real fluffy and soft. So that's the deal with Saori weaving, is you don't want it too even. You want the principle of wabi-sabi, where things are not quite perfect. I like real clean edges though when I weave. Some people, when they do the Saori weaving, they let the edges just get real thick and bumpy, and I like the edges to stay pretty thin and tight. So what I do is I use something sticky, and that's what I did here. And I do have to manually unstick it at times because of the way when I open and close the shed here. Sometimes it will stick together, and I have to make sure that they've unstuck before I, go ahead and put my shuttle through. And that's okay. I'd rather fuss with that a little bit as I'm working and have a nice sticky selvage. This is called a selvage. When you buy fabric, it's called the same thing. It's thicker, it's denser, and it holds the rest of your fabric together. And so that's why even with so much cotton in this warp, if you look back here, most of that is cotton or cotton blends. But the exception is definitely on my selvages. That navy blue that you see is a wool sock yarn. And it's only got a tiny bit of nylon in it. It's like 90% wool. It's one of the really nice ones. And it's very soft, but it's my glue. That's what sticks together the rest of my fabric and keeps it from falling apart, even though it's going to have a lot of drape and it's going to be soft.